Good afternoon. Today I discuss what is the importance of English language in the world as a India. The English language origins. Firstly, there are so many English language to use. The common people it is not use the English language, as that's the Sanskrit language is a very English language. Scholar pupils to use a Sanskrit language, but normal people did not use a Sanskrit language to read. It is a that I call a English language. There are so many languages: German, Latin, French, and it is a English language. And the normal people did not use a proper to read it. There are so many languages to adapt the word power to create a new language that's called a English language. French, Germans, Latins, there are so many words to obtain a English language, and Sanskrit language, there are so many words to obtain, that's king, bazaar, bangla, baranda, raja, rani, etc. shampoo. There are so many languages to taken by the Sanskrit language of the adopted English language. English language every year to taken a new word, his dictionary, and every year to generate a word power. It is a developing language in the world. Firstly, the English language to develop 55 BC in the Rome's. There are so many problems to create to speaking. There are so many English language. Otherwise, normal people to speak a English language, and Indians aspect to England's Britishers came to English language in India. There are so many variety to have a India. There are so many states, so many caste codes, so many creeds. There are so many languages. India have 324 language in India. There are so Sanskrit, Bangla, and Malayalam. There are so many language, but English language is a unity language. One state to other state, one caste to other caste, to transformation our emotional and thoughts to express. That's a possible of the English language. English language most important is the modern world and the future, and there are so many use in international vocational language, educational language, vocative language, trade and commerce language, and cultural language, all the use of the English language. And Indian judiciary, there are to use a English language, and Indian school, college, and engineering, astronauts, medical college, all the place to use only the English language. English language as a possible to thought, and there are so many scholars in the world, so many inventor in the world to write a book, and money aspect to vocational transformation and businessman to interact the Indian people to foreign people. There is one possible that's called a language, the English language. There are so many scholars, so many citizens in India every years. There are so many students to out in Indian college to send to the forest a new job to create. That's possible one language that's called a English language. English language most important in the futures, and there are so many currency, foreign currency to came up in India, and India a developed country day by day. English as aspect in India, 110 millions to speak in English in India, and 48% all over the world to speak English in the words. and 10% to speak English as a citizens in India. Every years, every day, to impact English language to improving and developing language in the world. All the people wanted to speak, wanted to interact the foreign citizens, or want to do the business Indians and forest country. It is a possible, that's called a English language. Ours as a Britisher to come to the English language, it is the most important English language to come to the India. Otherwise, English language not come to India. India is not developed in the present day. India is not, variety thoughts is not created and not understand in the present day. And thanks of the Britons to came to the English language, so many inventions, so many astronauts, so many creators, so many businessmen, so many any type of business to communicate one country to other country. That's a possible, that's called a English language. English language is a most important language. 1963, as a Indian's constitution to adapt a English language. New policy 2020, there are three language to aspect to rules. First, the mother tongues to use a Hindi language, and second language to use a regional language. Third and main language to use a English language in a new education policy 2020 in Indians education system to adapt a new education policy in India. There are so many impact of the English language. There are so many citizens to every year to out in other country to go to, and there are so many jobs, so many inventors, so many scientists, so many judiciary, and there are so many aspects to use a English language. I cannot imagine without a English language. English language a most important language in the future and present, and it is a in every time enrich language, and there are so many language to take a word power to adapt every years and enrich the vocabulary in the English language. And English language most important our the futures, our constitution, Indian constitution to always to adapt one language, that's called a English language. High court, Supreme Court, etc. There are so many use English language. Without English language I cannot imagine in the present day. There are so many castes to have in India, but English language the one language to communicate east to west, and to communicate is it the mean of communications. That's a language. It is in unity of that's called a unity of language in India. There are so many citizens every year to try to speak English language. There are four traits to have a English language. First, every student to try to listen, every student to try to speak, every student to try to writing, every student to try to read. There are only four aspects to speak in English. Every students, every citizens try to four aspects to follow. You can speak English, you can well pronunciation of word in English, and all the possibility to develop in English language in the India. Indian school and college and university are to use a English language, and English language a important language in the world. Without English language I cannot imagine to develop country in the future. and India a emerging economics in the world. Indians adapt a English language thankful of the Britishers to came to the English language. Without British not came to the English language, India cannot freedoms, cannot develop in the present time. The thankful all of the Indian citizens to thanks to British governments to taken by the English language in India. Thank you all of you. What is the importance of English language? I said to all of you adapt the English language. English language a emerging language. All the parents and citizens try to given a new education policy to adapt a English language, and new teachers of the primary schools, college and university will teach our students, and there are four aspects to read, speak, listening and writing. Reading, there are four aspects to rule the follow. You can better the English language, not frightened, not run away without English language as a good language to emerging the your character, your behavior, your communication, all the develop of English language. Thank you all of you. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.